Hey, it's Mitch Native Survival. Today we're going to talk about garlic mustard. Stay tuned. Alright, so the first year growth is on the forest floor like you see in front of you. And it's these interestingly shaped leaves with the stem it's kind of overlapped in the back by these two pieces of the leaf in the back here. It's heavily toothed, and when you crush it, it smells like garlic. Okay, so now what you want to do is look nearby for the second stage of growth, the second year's growth. And it's pretty easy to find because it stands up and it has very interesting shaped leaves. That's it right there. So all right here is a bunch of the parents, and all down here are all the children. So this is the first year growth, and right over here standing up is a second year growth. Now the second year growth leaves look like this. Pretty cool. They still have that same heavily toothed kind of outer rim, but now it has an arrowhead like shape. Pretty interesting. Alright, so here's a parent that's lost quite a few of its leaves. It's kind of in trouble here, it's kind of dying out. So I chose this one as my example, so I'm not taking a really healthy version of it from the landscape. But basically, one of the things that stands out, it's a very tall compared to the ground creeper plant. And the thing that stands out too is that it has these pods growing on the side of it. So it has these very unique leaves, and it has these pods that stand out. So it's usually pretty easy to see quite a few of these growing. And actually right behind, I mean this whole patch right there is just all parent plants right there. So you know, you can identify that pretty easy walking. Now there's other plants that look like this, so you can't just stop here. So I always look for a parent plant in the area, and of course when I crush up the leaves they always smell like garlic as well. Okay, so on page 64 of Peterson's, it does talk about the mustards. Now the thing is that it really only goes over a few of them. Field mustard and black mustard. There's a ton of mustards. What it actually says right here, a large widespread group of edible plants, 2 representative species shown. Okay, so they only show 2. And you know, they have the pods growing up, right? The family has, you know, pretty much the same characteristics throughout the plants, but this particular book doesn't go over the actual version of mustard that's called garlic mustard. Okay, so I had to go through some of my other books to track it down, so let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so this is a Newcomb's Wildflower Guide, and if you go to page 138, at the bottom you'll find garlic mustard. Leaves are coarsely toothed, long stalked, has white flowers, leaves smell of garlic when crushed. Okay, it's part of the mustard family. And we go to the picture, that's this one right here. This is the second year growth, and you can see the arrowhead like features. Alright, so this is the Audubon Society to wildflowers. And in the color plates, color plate 187 is garlic mustard. It's a nice color pick of the second year growths. And also along the bottom you'll see a couple of first year. Alright, so what does Peterson say about how you can eat the plant? Well, you can eat it raw, you can steam it, you can fry it. Won't be pickling in the woods anytime soon. You can dry it out, use it as a seasoning, right? So it'll be like a mustard powder, garlic mustard powder. And they go on to say, you know, you can boil it, put it in stews, cook it like a root vegetable, you know, things like that. Now the seed pods, collected the seed pods, also tender green seed pods. The white flowers when they're still in bloom can be eaten raw, salads, all the same. And it makes a hot yellow mustard when finely ground, the seeds. The Italian plant is rich in vitamins A, B1, B2, and C, and flower buds are also rich in protein. So this is the mustard family, and it's a pretty awesome family, as you can see. Alright, so last year when I did a video on garlic mustard, I did it with Sean the Silver Fox from the UK. He was over visiting here in the States, and he showed me this plant, and I wasn't familiar with it, so I was really grateful. I'm still very grateful that he taught me this plant. Now, like I said, I wasn't familiar with it at all, so I kind of let him talk about it and do his thing, and he called it Jack by the Hedge. Okay, so we call it garlic mustard, they call it Jack by the Hedge. You want to make sure that when somebody teaches you a plant, which to me is like the most sacred way of learning something, when someone passes you on, passes on to you some knowledge like that, you want to not just be like, wow, it's a cool plant, and then forget about it 2 weeks later. I've only found it a few times since last year, and it's the most prolific area I've ever seen in the States, where I just found it now. And I never forgot about it. I kept working on it. I kept looking for it. I started buying books like the Newcombs because it wasn't in my Peterson's book. It's not easily found in books, so it was kind of a challenge. And it tastes amazing. I ate a ton of it last year after he showed it to me for multiple days. I was out there for like a week, and I ate it every single day. Try to make my food last longer. So anyways, the lesson here is that if someone passes on some knowledge to you like that, especially a plant, work really hard to not only remember it and be able to own that knowledge yourself, but expand upon it and know it better. Whereas last year I wasn't familiar with this at all. I didn't even realize that there was 2 growth stages. There was tons of things that I didn't realize. But over the last year I've worked on it, so now I know that this is the first year's growth and this is the second year's growth, and what the differences are, alright, and how they're always near each other and all of that. So it's a very interesting plant because each stage is very unique, very unique. But the cool thing is that they both smell like garlic when you crush them. So this is the first year's growth, so I'm gonna rip it up. Yep, there's that smell, I love it. Chomp down on that. Nice mustardy, garlicky taste, of course. Delicious. Love it. Now, second year's growth. A little milder, almost exactly the same flavor. It's almost exactly perfectly the same, just a little bit different. Still tastes like mustard and garlic and all that. So, it's really important to to try to remember when someone teaches you these things, because that's how things are always taught before books started being manufactured. So I do appreciate him showing me this, and I would also mention in the book that I can have the seed pods. Now, I've never eaten the seed pods before, so I'm going to look for one that has nice fresh seed pods and pick a couple off, and I'll get back to you. Okay, so there's a couple of seed pods. So it's kind of splitting open here, and there's little green seeds right there. There's one. I'll try that out. There's quite a few in here. Not really too much of a flavor, I think, because it's such a small piece. So I'm going to eat this whole thing. Interesting. Tastes a little like green peas, and it has like a, that's awesome, a garlicky bite to it at the end. It's like ready to go seasoned green peas with garlic pepper. These are pretty good. A little fibrous though. I noticed I have like a lot of cellulose left. Alright, yeah, so these can be chomped on, and they're actually pretty good. Tastes pretty awesome. These got a little cellulose after. Now these seeds in this seed pod are old and dried out. I'm thinking this would be a good stage to grind them up and turn them into powder. I just came up with a pretty cool way to harvest these seeds. You just put them over a book, and then scrape your thumb over the pods. And all the seeds just fall out. I've gotten a lot of seeds really quickly this way. Alright, then let's go back and pull out the husks that happen to stay. I mean, check that out. That's a ton of seeds right there. A lot of seeds. And I can hold it very easily in my book, because all I have to do is close it. And now it's going to stay in there. Alright, well, it's been Mitch in Survival. Appreciate your views, your comments, and your support. See you in the next one. Take care.